Now, we have another question here, and I guess this one's kind of, we're getting some on the philosophical side now. There are people who are commenting about different videos that they've seen you discussing the topic of love. What do you feel love is? And please comment on that.
Well, what happened to love when the couple splits up? Where the wife says, I want the house, the kids, and the car. What happened to love? I'm asking, what happened to love? There's no such thing as love. There only is extensionality. If you're extensional to a person, meaning if you enhance their lives, help them understand the world they live in, they'll want to be with you because you're very extensional to them. The word extensional will eventually replace the word love because nobody loves everything they've ever done in life. All of us have done stupid things. Even there's a point where Jesus said, he who is without sin, let him cast the first stone. So I'm saying that some verbal behavior is extensional. But if you're extensional to another person, meaning enhance their lives, give them more useful tools to think with, that's being extensional. That is real love. But the word love does not imply that.
I think a good example you use that's really helpful for a lot of people, Jacques uses a story. You don't always love yourself all the time. Sometimes you get very disappointed in what you do. Sometimes you like certain things. Sometimes you don't. So when you meet somebody and you might marry them or become a partner, sometimes you love them, you think you love them a lot, sometimes not so much. Sometimes you'll wonder, how the hell did I get into this? So it varies, and people are looking for a fixed thing called love, and they get very disappointed and very confused when they start thinking, well, do I love this person? Don't I love this person? In some ways you do, in some ways you don't.
I think that's actually another very liberating thing that came about when I dumped a lot of superstition. I myself used to be a very romantically inclined person. I watched what people would call chick flicks. You know, I was really big on being the paladin and the knight in shining armor and, you know, being good to the ladies and all that. And I still do treat them with respect, but there were so many supernatural beliefs about love. Like you think it's this spiritual thing that's going to guaranteed to happen, and it's always sent by some, you know, metaphysical power trying to tell you you're meant to be with somebody. But unrequited love, when you love somebody who doesn't love you, or you're attracted to somebody who's not attracted to you, is one of the most painful and horrible things that can ever happen to a person. And it's just the notion that any kind of benevolent force decides to do that to somebody, people commit suicide over that. You know, it's crazy.
They just don't have the tools to answer a lot of questions.
And, you know, going back to the fairy tales you get, the Cinderellas and all those kind of fairy tales, and the women especially grow up on these knight in shining armor person that's going to come along and take care of all their problems, and they have a lot of difficulties with that as they grow up.
I think especially since the images of these people are generally like strong personalities, and you find like there's a real problem I've noticed particularly is that the girls seem to be attracted to men who are assertive, and then it doesn't work out for them in the end because, you know, the assertive package comes with all kinds of other negative stuff that they didn't anticipate. You know, just basically that the whole attraction to bad boys and ironically nice guys finish last. You know, so it's just another reason. It's like, you know, you find a woman and she desperately loves this man who's beating her up all the time. You know, how is that a benevolent force telling this woman, I need to be with this man?
There are women that are looking for the right person. You ever hear that?
Yes.
I'm looking for the right person for me. When you fall in love at 15, it's not like falling in love at 25. And at 30, you fall in love with different aspects because the concept keeps changing as you gain more experience. So if you marry when you're very young, you marry into a value system that you had when you were very young. Do you understand that?
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, that's all completely designed by your culture. You know, what people find to be a good mate is different also in the physical aspects. You know, like you pointed out that when the people in those islands who didn't have any fetishes, you know, because of the fact that there wasn't any specific areas that were forbidden, so they weren't super secret and therefore not special, you know.
Plus, they would swim nude when they were very young.
Mhm.
So everybody walked around nude. And there were no peeping toms on the island. No girly magazines. Nobody clipped pictures of girls nude and hung it up on a wall because they were swimming nude ever since they were tots. And they never stared at any particular part of the body. They looked at the eyes of a female when they talked to a female.
Now, when discussing also, I guess we were still talking about love. You know, I've talked to you guys about, you know, your relationship and also just the idea. I remember, Roxanne, you said to me, you know, do you share your values with this person? You know, being important. You know, that's really the secret to a successful relationship. I mean, I think that you guys could be considered like a pinnacle example since you've been together, what, for like 40 years or something? And, you know, you don't need any supernatural beliefs to tell you, oh, we're meant to be together. You guys just have a lot of things in common and you're compatible, and that's why it's working.